Jennifer, I want to tell you personally, I really like how you're speaking tonight. I think that I get an honest vibe from what's being said. And I think...
Jane, I've always tried to be an honest person.
Well, listen,
I mean, truly. So thank you.
And I mean that.
Thank you.
I think honesty is the key to what we're hearing here. And you know what? I can tell you from sitting in the House, and this is just my take. Most of the reps that see the 15 that voted, I don't think that's an issue. And I don't agree with that 15, okay? But at any time, you're right, any rep could vote what they believe.
It could be any group
Absolutely.
of 15.
And you know what? Who are we? It's up to the voters at that point, when that comes back around, if it's a bigger point to make their voices heard. You're absolutely correct, and I believe that. I can tell you, for the people that are fighting, and I do mean fighting, because there's a group of us that have gotten together in grassroots in very tight, small, but well organized groups to flip a lot of local elections. Alton was one of the biggest Republican turnouts. And I say this not for the clapping, because a lot of the constituents from Alton are here and they deserve the clap. But it was because we all decided to get together and make every seat in every election possible. The thing for me going to Concord, and I'm new to this, was how disheartening it was to see, I'm sorry to say, our leadership weak at the very top, and then number 2 and number 3. Number 2 and 3, that's all we have in the House. When we're fighting, 179 of us, fighting against the 221 or whatever's there, right? And we watched this unfold. And I have to tell you, it was not something that was helpful at all, because I felt it was dishonest. It was dishonest in how it went down. And it was dishonest in that people were ready to gloss over that leadership issue. When leaders they have to lead, right? The leadership has to lead. And if the leadership doesn't lead, we're going to have similar issues in the next election cycle, because I believe that that's why we lost so many seats in the last. We can't be afraid to lead. And I'm not saying that you are. I'm not making this a...
Sure.
I'm saying that that's what I saw there, and we better start being honest about this, because 2014 is coming fast. And if this gas tax, if God bless the Senate, but if this gas tax gets through, I believe this is a game changer like we have never seen in this state. New Hampshire will never be the same for being small government and low taxes again if this one slips through. And that's why leadership should be held accountable.
And that's why we've come out so strongly.
You slipped through the cigarette tax at 30 cents. You did 20 today and 10 last week.
Well, you know, let's look at some of these taxes. They want to, the tax on cigarettes, you know, that's a hard one. It's hard to go out there and be the party who's for making cigarettes affordable, you know. But still, we
should be the party that think it's affordable, because after all, that money goes to education.
Well, see, and not only that, but I look at it even, I go beyond that and I say, you know, this tax mentality they have on things like cigarettes and things like gas are really an assault on the lowest income families in our state. It is. We know that disproportionately it is low-income taxpayers who are smokers. We know it is the low-income families who really suffer when they can't afford to put gas in the car. You know, those are the families that wake up on Saturday morning and say, should I go out and buy a gallon of milk, or can I put a gallon of gas in the car? And so it is this democratic assault on the poor that we have got to be the strongest voice to push back against. Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to say that as a resident of Alton who worked very hard in this last election, and I had a phone chain and an email chain, and I knew who I was in a line with, and we looked at what was coming up, and we just did it in the last few weeks, but we really poured our heart and souls out. I stood 10 hours at the town dump with signs And all I said to people was, make sure you know what you're voting for, and that engaged in conversation. It wasn't a spin on anything. We were being lied to about a major warrant article that was going to cost taxpayers what they couldn't afford, and they were misrepresenting that by putting a spin on it. And they had all these fancy brochures, and they were doing the phone calling chains and all this hoopla and marketing. That's the 8th year in a row they've done marketing.
Right.
Guess where they are? The warrant article got down. We voted down 3 Agenda 21 articles.
Yes.
We have 2 conservatives in the selectmen. We have another conservative in the school board, which added to the one we got in last year. My husband is now on the planning board fighting Agenda 21. We came out way on top. And you know what? Our candidates put letters to the editors, and they put their information out as conservative. Truth and honesty, simple to the point, and they had the best and the highest vote numbers in the whole town.
works.
That's my advice to this party, is
be
keep
the
it
party of
simple,
honesty.
be straight and truthful, no marketing, no baloney. And you know what? Don't be afraid to use the word cut. We never hear
Right.
cut spending. It's always, how are we gonna raise taxes to create revenues?
Ellen,
Cut,
make sure you
cut,
don't
cut,
get no
cut.
press releases. I use the word cut all the time.
Thank you.
But let me just say, you just made my argument for me. You won your elections in Alton because you got on the phone and you called hundreds of voters and you got people organized and you got the letters out there.
It was a team effort, believe me. It
I
wasn't
know,
just me.
no, I understand, but that's what I'm saying. Exactly what you did in that Alton election is what we need you to do in the state rep elections next November. It's the same basic base of voters. These are, and when you, this is what I said earlier, when you talk to your neighbors, you can change the outcome of the election. They don't trust me, they don't even know me. They trust you, they know you, and they just voted in a way that proved that they trust you. So that's what we need to build on. It can't just be in the local elections, we need to take that and translate it into our state rep races, into our state senate
And in
races.
return-
That's how we win elections.
In return, we need you to tell all the reps, we're watching, we're paying attention, and we will come out and we will lobby against them if they don't stay to the platform, stay to the
Right.
policies and the core beliefs of constitutional, our constitution, our freedoms, and our rights and our core values, you know? So, we are
It's a
watching,
fight we have to fight together.
and it's building
every night.
momentum.
Croc TV.